I'm Steve Pratt, and over the next 6 minutes, I'll reveal an ingenious little trick that will burn your ex with so much emotional urgency that he will find himself feeling strong internal impulses to come back to you. These impulses are going to be so strong that his stomach will churn with guilt for ever letting you go, and his mind will force him to do whatever it takes to get back with you. In fact, the moment you apply this trick, he will go into this obsessive frenzy where thoughts of you will constantly circle his mind, and he will come up with his own reasons on why getting back with you is going to be the best decision of his entire life. It doesn't matter if he told you to never contact him again, because now, the very idea of getting back with you will send shivers of delight through his veins. It doesn't matter how nasty or ugly things got between the two of you, because now you will be able to delete all unwanted history from his memory, and he will desperately need more of you in his life than ever before. And it doesn't matter if he has already moved on and is dating someone else, because now he will feel this weird, uncomfortable loneliness which won't leave him alone unless he breaks up with that person and gets back with you. In fact, at the very end of this video, which isn't going to be online for very long, I'll give you a unique twist on this same ingenious trick that will make your ex find you 10 to 20 times more desirable than ever before. I know this sounds too good to be true right now, but if you pay very close attention to every word I say and stay till the very end of this presentation, you will be able to make your ex feel such a bundle of restless energy that he won't have any other option than coming back to you. Okay, now those are some pretty fat, tall, and bulky claims, and it probably sounds very unrealistic, especially if you're someone who has tried everything there is to try to get your ex back. So how can I be so sure that what I'm talking about actually works? I am absolutely sure, because, not so long ago, I heard the most soul-crushing words humanly imaginable from my girlfriend, whom I loved more than life itself. I was sitting across the table from her when she said, "Steve, I don't want to be with you anymore." A sensation of intense sickness and misery swept over me. My heart started to explode in my chest, and I could hear it thumping inside of me. Boom, boom, boom. My mind wasn't ready to believe what I just heard, and in utter desperation, I spent the next half an hour trying to convince, persuade, and finally beg her to not leave me. The icy cold look in her eyes convinced me that she was anxious to escape from my disturbing presence, and before I knew it, she told me to never contact her again, and walked out of the door never to return. Over the next few days, depression began to spread across my body like a deadly cancer. I felt like a part of my soul was missing because her face kept appearing in every thought I'd think. Her voice echoed in my head, and her memory wouldn't leave my mind. It had been several weeks, and although I had become a master at hiding my feelings, the world could still see that I wasn't the same person I used to be. All my friends and family told me to get over her. I knew they were right, but I didn't want to accept this reality. Something inside me wasn't ready to let go. For a while, I tried getting over her. I desperately wished for something that would completely erase her from my memory. I even had some okay days when the pain wasn't as bad. But whenever I made any progress, a sound, object, thing, or even a smell would trigger off memories of her, and I would find myself back to stage one with the same old ache in my heart stronger than ever. I craved tidbits of information about her life. I used to check her Facebook profile hundreds of times per day. I would jump with excitement each time there was a text message, because I secretly hoped that one of these days she is going to contact me. More days passed, and I never heard from her, until finally, on a gloomy Sunday afternoon, I saw a text from her. My insides danced in excitement seeing her name on my screen, but that excitement was short-lived when I read that she wanted me to return her box of valuables that was still at my place. My desperation very rapidly turned into anger. I felt angry at my own weakness around her. Just as I was thinking this, my eyes fell upon this stupid old box. A crazy volcano of anger erupted inside me, and I threw the box outside the window like it had a cobra coming out of it. This is it, I told myself. Either I was going to get her back, or I was going to completely forget her. I couldn't tolerate being in this painful zone of uncertainty anymore. I gave myself 7 days to figure it out, and it was during that period that I made the most shocking discovery of my life. To cut the long story short, within that very week, I received a text from my ex asking me to meet up because she had something very urgent to discuss. I went over to her place, and the moment she opened the door, she hugged me so hard that it almost squeezed the life out of me, and before I could say anything, she dug her face into my chest and grabbed me even tighter. Then, with tears in her eyes, she said, "I was so stupid. I don't know what I was thinking. Would you please forgive me?" And then she literally begged me to give her another chance. I won't lie, but I was surprised at my own influence over her. So you must be wondering, what did I do in those 7 days? Well, I discovered an ingenious trick which basically forced my ex to feel emotionally hungry for me to the point of starvation. And to be honest with you, I never really thought it would work because this trick appeared awfully simple. In fact, this excited me so much that I shared this exact trick with a female friend of mine who had gone through a very painful breakup recently and was struggling to cope because it was all her fault. I won't get into all the dirty details, but she actually cheated on this guy. She had done everything in her power, endless apologies, desperate convincing, and even begging, yet her ex never wanted to see her again. As a final attempt, I asked her to try this trick, and to her extreme surprise, this same man was ready to have the talk with her, and now they're back together. Next, I started sharing this trick with women online. There was a 38-year-old woman who was brutally dumped by her boyfriend of 3 years for another girl. She used my trick on him, and out of nowhere, her ex called her in the middle of the night asking for another chance. I also shared it with a woman who was in a long-distance relationship and couldn't see any hope of getting her man back. After she used my trick, her ex sent her a very long email describing how he had been missing her to the point of tears, and described that all the time spent away from her had been the most difficult phase of his life, and then begged her to give him another shot. I could go on and on, but it got to a point where I shared this trick with hundreds of women, and they were all shell-shocked to see how effective and fast this was. At this point, you must be thinking, "All right, Steve, can you please share this secret trick with me?" Well, I'd be more than glad to. Therefore, make sure you pay extra attention to what I'm going to say next. As human beings, our primal brain has one core primary function. It wants to gain pleasure and avoid pain, and it's like this huge database of memories. It records every event, every experience, and labels them as pleasurable or painful. A relationship works in a similar fashion too, which means your ex's primal brain kept a note of all the pleasurable and painful experiences he has shared with you. Therefore, when your breakup occurred, regardless of what the major cause might have been, the underlying cause was this. The number of painful events your ex experienced around you outweighed the number of pleasurable events, and as a result, his primal brain force-fed feelings of disinterest, misery, and irritation in his body. Because of this, he erected what I call the Great Wall of Defense. Because your presence gave birth to a mixture of negative emotions in his body. In short, he stopped feeling good in your presence, and to avoid further pain, he started avoiding you. However, you know how I said that our primal brain is like a database of memories and it records everything? Just like a memory trail of poor experiences, your ex's primal brain also has a large recollection of pleasurable experiences he once shared with you.